The Bengals are 2-2. They need to right the ship, and their offense stinks, which leads me to one thing that they need to do right now. It's time to break it all down on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com, and the Bengals, well, they stink. They've lost their past two games, 76-13. Their offense has been dreadful, and it's why, there's going to be plenty of people talking about firing Zac Taylor, which, if they continue to go down this path, is obviously an option. People are talking about the front office, discussing all of these different topics. I'm here to try to find a way to fix this year's team. And just like you would jump at the idea of trading for an offensive lineman that would help, or a defensive lineman that would help, or a cornerback that would help, or a tight end, or whoever else that you think would help. The Bengals should leave no stone unturned. And that's why Russell Wilson should be a Bengal today. Russell Wilson should be a Bengal by the time Andrew starts editing this video and getting this video ready for everyone that listens on Spotify and Apple. Russell Wilson should be a Bengal for a bunch of reasons. And I get it that instantly Bengals fans are going to say, oh, no, Jameis Winston. And while I would be open to Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson is literally better than Jameis Winston. There's never been a time in the NFL where Russell Wilson wasn't better than Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is a borderline bust as the number one overall pick. Russell Wilson has overachieved really every step of the way. Denver got weird. And then last year in Pittsburgh, did he lead them to the playoffs? Oh, he led them to the playoffs. Russell Wilson time in Cincinnati. And there are going to be plenty of people that say, oh, well, James, there's no way the offensive line and all of the... No. Jake Browning left a ton of plays on the field the other night. Jake Browning missed a wide open Jamar Chase. Not one, not two, not three, a bunch of times. Jamar Chase should have had 10 to 12 catches the other night. And so when I look at this Bengals team at 2-2 with Baltimore reeling and the Steelers seemingly in position to win the AFC North, and Joe Burrow behind the scenes, and I've tried to tell you over and over and over again, he is doing everything he can to get back because guess what? That's in his blood. That's his mindset. He's attacking it. Well, it's up to the Bengals to give him a reason to come back, to give him a chance, an opportunity to salvage this season. And you might not think they can do it. Heck, I don't need to believe that they can do it. But that should be their mindset at 2-2. That should be their mindset despite 76-13. How can you maximize what you have right now? A month from now, if they haven't won another game, it's a completely different conversation. I know that. I understand that. I totally get it. But this idea that the Bengals shouldn't trade for Russell Wilson because it won't matter, it will matter. We're talking about a guy that threw for 450 yards a couple of weeks ago. We're talking about a guy that would certainly thrive in an offense. And thrive is relative. He's not going to be Joe Burrow. You should know that. I certainly know that. Is he going to be better than what they have? Is he going to be able to actually get the ball to Jamar Chase? Is he going to be able to read the field and say, oh, no, Jamar's covered here, but Mike Gesicki's open? Or I have this easy check down for 7 yards, but Jamar's about to come open deep downfield. Should I take that shot? The answer is yes. Russell Wilson, Moonball Russ, sign me up. Sign me up for an offense that is going to be deep balls, screen passes, not much intermediate stuff. It's going to be high variance, but it's going to put up points. I would be okay with that. It is certainly better than what they've put on the field to this point and would maximize their strength, which is Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and the rest of the weapons they have on offense. That is my goal if I'm the Bengals. I would be making the call. There was a rumor from Mike Florio that there was some chatter last week about the Bengals and the Giants and a 5th-round pick behind the scenes. If you could get Russ for a 5th-round pick, fine. It's probably conditional. And what I would do is I would make it conditional on a few things, play percentage, playing time percentage, if the Bengals make the playoffs, all of those things. And then maybe it goes up to a 4. But if, let's say he doesn't play a lot or whatever happens, well, then it's a 6 or a 7. Fine. Or it's a 5 to a 7, whatever. That's what I would do. I would make it conditional. The Giants lost Malik Neighbors. They obviously pivoted to Jackson Dart. Makes a ton of sense to me. I am all in. Let Russ cook. I have some other thoughts on this offense and also a retired quarterback that was tossed out there by an NFL insider as a possible fit for the Bengals. We'll get to that coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by Win-Win Athletics. Jeff Baldwin of Win-Win Athletics is a giant Bengals fan, and he has designed the best flag football gear on the planet. Win-Win is perfect for you or your son or your daughter or whoever in your life that plays flag football. The Win-Win Flag Football Kit is a football field you can carry. It's got everything you need to play 5-on-5 flag football anywhere, designed for simplicity and built to perform. Sounds like a win-win. Get yours at winwinathletics.com. All right, let's continue the conversation here. I really do. I think that Russell Wilson would be an upgrade, and I've talked to some football people behind the scenes, former players that have watched Jake Browning, that are watching the film, not just guys that are consuming it in the TV copy, and they 100% agree. And so I get it. Like, there's going to be people that say, oh, well, Russ is washed. And I wrote something for BengalsTalk.com on Tuesday night on my way home from the game in Denver. I totally get it. I get why you would say that. And I get why it sounds so outlandish. Really, Russell Wilson? Yes, really, Russell Wilson. It's gotten to that point. Also, I want to throw this out there. Jeremy Fowler threw this out there, and I just think it's interesting. Quote, the Bengals still believe in Jake Browning, who was far from the only culprit in Denver on Monday, but Cincinnati has too much skill possession talent to accept the status quo. At some point, it could need reinforcements at the game's most important position. It might be worth calling up recently retired Derek Carr to check in on how his shoulder is healing. I hadn't really thought about Derek Carr. I'm far more in on Russell Wilson than Derek Carr. Russell Wilson played a game a few weeks ago. Russell Wilson threw for 450 yards against the Cowboys a couple of weeks ago. Russell Wilson, I think, would be able to maximize what the Bengals have on offense. The Derek Carr one is just weird. Jameis Winston is going to be thrown out there. I'd be open to it, but again, I think Russell Wilson is better. And then the other one is obviously Kirk Cousins. That contract just really gets in the way of things. Russell Wilson only has just over $2 million left on his deal. The Giants have already paid out most of his contract. So it's a real easy deal to absorb into your cap space and all of those things. Kirk's contract makes it really, 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 really tough. I'm not saying they wouldn't do it. I'd be surprised, especially because Russell and Kirk, they're kind of the same dude at this point. If anything, Russell might be a little better. Maybe not. Maybe I'm way wrong on that, and it is Kirk. But contract-wise, you'd almost have to rip up his contract or have Atlanta pay it all out to get whatever pick the Bengals would give in return, which maybe they're willing to do. If I'm Atlanta, I'd probably be willing to do it. Michael Penix is your future. What is Kirk doing? You're clearly not going to start Kirk at all this season unless there's an injury. Yeah. So I think that's the least likely, even less likely than Derek Carr, to be honest with you. But the one that makes the most sense and continues to line up in my brain, and I think in really, really smart football people's brains, from those that I've talked to in the league, Russell Wilson makes a ton of sense. He's not going to cost a lot from a money standpoint, not going to cost a lot from a draft standpoint. He's going to make you better and gives you another option where, yeah, he doesn't have to start this week against the Lions. But if you bring him in here today, Russell Wilson, if you brought him in here today, well, he wouldn't have to start against the Lions. Could be active in Green Bay. And then you have him start against his former team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, on Thursday Night Football at home. That would be my plan. Like, if you acquire him today, he makes his first start 15 days from now, Thursday Night Football, October 16th. And maybe he gets in earlier. Maybe it gets that bad from Jake Browning. But that would be my goal, my mindset, if I was the Cincinnati Bengals. Make sure you check out our sponsor, winwinathletics.com. Appreciate each and every one of you. It's Wednesday, which means full swing, full steam ahead with week 5. It's Detroit week. The Lions, they're a juggernaut. We're going to have you covered every step of the way. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, for Andrew Fox-Miller, I'm James Rapien. Don't forget to check out Enter the Jungle if you missed it. And until next time, thank you so much for watching and listening to Cincinnati Bengals Talk.